Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit, and I am Lord of the Arena, of course. Having taken a brief holiday to allow my opponents to recuperate from their wounds. They're like broken legs and severed heads, and it was a bit of a mess, frankly. It takes a while to clean up the sands of the arena after I'm done with them. It's only fair. I'm a sportsman. So, we've got Druid, Mage, and Warlock as options. I'm thinking we might Druid a little bit. Yeah, sounds about right. Let's do some Druid. Well, that's not a great start, is it? I think we might actually unironically take the Hungry Crab. Funnily enough, the Hungry Crab is like a fairly basic creature, but it can be a really, really good creature. A 1-2 for 1 is not actually that bad, right? That's okay. It's not a bad choice. The Destroy a Murloc and gain 2/2 makes it incredibly powerful, but very situational. So there are certain circumstances where Hungry Crab is amazing, and then there are others where it's just like, hey, it's a 1 cost. The other two, again, super situational and potentially devastating to you, which is really bad. And, oh, unless you have pirates, this thing bloody doesn't do a damn thing. So, Hungry Crab. Man, they are not giving me good cards. Okay, Moonfire, Stone Tusk Born, Wolf Rider. I view Moonfire as a waste of a card. It is a 0 cost. This game has such a limit on the amount of cards that you can take that taking something like Moonfire really doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Because it's a card that does 1 damage, and you already have a hero power that can do that anyway. Stone Tusk Boar, similar kind of situation. It's a 1/1 for 1, and the charge is not that great. So I think we take the Wolf Rider. At least, this is a removal, essentially. You can charge this at something and kill it. None of those were really good, in my opinion. And the nonsense continues. Wisp, Naturalize, and Power of the Wild. It's going to be Power of the Wild here. Naturalize is a terrible card, for the most part. Yes, destroying a minion sounds amazing, but unless you do this to, like, Deathwing or something like that, giving your opponent card draw is a terrible idea. So, Power of the Wild is not bad. It's a 3/2 Panther for 2, which sucks, really, because you compare that to any of the other 3/2 creatures like the Ooze or the Knife Throw, and it's not as good. But you've got an option with it. You've got that ++. So, it's okay. Armani Berserker, Lord of the Arena, and stop giving me bad cards! What the hell? Wisps, jeez. Don't ever take a Wisp in an Arena deck, it's a waste. Oh, thank God, this 1/1 creature for 0 happened to be in my hand, because I needed that. No, you generally never do, so the Wisp is a terrible card. Armani Berserker, Lord of the Arena. These are at least pretty decent. I think we'll probably take the Armani Berserker. The Lord of the Arena, the fact that it's a 6/5 with Taunt is really... It's this and the Booty Bay Bodyguard. I don't like either of those kind of aggro Taunt guys. I prefer the ones with more HP. These guys can die pretty fast, and they're fairly pricey as well. I think we take an Armani Berserker here. It's just good. If you can get the Enrage, it's amazing. If you can't get the Enrage, it's good. Ironbark, Protector, Moonfire, and Reckless Rocketeer. This is a fairly easy choice. As we mentioned earlier, Moonfire is bad. Reckless Rocketeer is okay in certain circumstances. It's great if you can get it out and there's nothing to kill it. You can get this out behind a taunt wall and just beat the snot out of your opponent with it. It's not too bad. It's a nice little surprise if your opponent thinks that they have the ability to beat you, and then you suddenly throw out a charge creature which kills them. And then Ironbark Protector, which is just great. 8/8 for 8 with a taunt. It's alright. The main problem I've got with this guy is that he is neutralized by stuff like Hex and Polymorph really effectively. Even if you silence him, though, he's still an 8/8. So silence is not something you really want to use against him. He's difficult to remove. He's a very powerful creature. Alright, now we're getting to stuff that's actually good. So, River Crocolisk, the Jungle Panther, and the Stormpike Commando. I kind of like the River Crocolisk because it's a good creature to remove 2 1/1 and still actually have a creature remaining, which you can't really do with something like, say, a Ooze, which is a 3/2, which would trade with a 2/1, and that's not really ideal. Jungle Panther is just great. I mean, it's a 4/2 with stealth for 3. That's exceptional value. It's probably going to kill at least 1 creature or do a lot of damage. And then Stormpike Commando, there are days when I really like this, and then there are days where I just loathe taking it because it does the 2 damage and then gets instantly popped by some weak creature. It can still be a 2-for-1 trade in most circumstances, though. So it's not too bad. I think we'll take the Jungle Panther. Okay, Healing Touch, Soul of the Forest, and Core Hound, right? This is, again, a fairly easy decision. I've said many times before I don't like the Core Hound because its health amount is too low, and it's too easy to eliminate with something like a Fireball, or, just trading a couple of weak creatures for it, or a buffed-up weak creature. It's just too weak for what it is. That amount of damage is great if you can keep it alive, but good luck having that happen. Healing Touch, this needs buffing. It is weak sauce. 3 mana for 8 health is not considered by most people to be a very good idea. Healing yourself is good in a deck like, say, a Priest Northshire Cleric deck, where you actually benefit from it, and you throw a few Light Wardens in there, but for a Druid, healing is generally not what you want to be doing. And then Soul of the Forest. Give your minions Death Rattle, Summon 2/2 Treant. Very, very good if you've got a lot of weak creatures on the field. Even if you just have a board advantage in terms of your numbers, Soul of the Forest is a good card, so I'm going to take that. Another Soul of the Forest, Claw and Harvest Golem. Okay, so we'll ignore that for the time being because these cards are better in my opinion. This +2 is really nice because it's basically a free removal of anything with 2 health, potentially 3 if you buff it up with your hero power. So you can spend 3 and you've got 3 armor, 3 attack to remove anything that happens to have 3 health and not really take much damage, if any, from it. And then the Harvest Golem, which is just a generally good creature. Now, I think we'll take the Claw. I've got some decent 3-drops already that I like, so I'm going to take the Claw just for that little bit of removal early on. Okay, Frostwolf Warlord, Grimscale Oracle, and Wild Growth. Generally speaking, I really like Wild Growth because it gets you a huge tempo advantage, and it allows you to drop stuff earlier than you should be able to. So you can start to put really powerful stuff on the field. The problem is, of course, you're using a card and 2 mana to get that mana crystal, so unless you're able to make use of that advantage, that is actually useless. It's like, oh great, I've got 10 mana. Well, if you don't have the cards to play with it, that's not going to help you. And then you've got Frostwolf Warlord, which is not as good as it... Well, it's arguably as good as it used to be. It depends. It was changed. It's a middling change. Now battle cries for +1/+1 on friendly minions instead of it being a constant thing that you can affect depending on how many minions are alive. So it can be considered better. It can be considered worse in certain circumstances. It's just different. I think we're going to take the Frostwolf Warlord, actually, based on what I said earlier about the Wild Growth. Okay. Nourish, Young Priestess, Secret Keeper. We can safely ignore that one. It's not a deck where we have secrets, and it's reliant on the other guy playing secrets, which makes it a bad card. Young Priestess is a really good card, especially if you've got a lot of taunt on the field, and you can keep it alive. I absolutely love it. It's excellent value. And then you've got Nourish. Gain 2 mana crystals or draw 3 cards. Generally, what you want to do with this is draw 3 cards. The exception is when you're able to power it with an Innovate and get it out a lot earlier. 3-card draw for 5 and a card is okay. It's alright, in my opinion. It's not too shabby. So, which one? Well, we are definitely lacking card draw right now. So, I think based on the fact that we don't have any yet, we're going to grab a Nourish. Alright, Wild Growth, Boulder Fist Ogre, and Swipe. These are all pretty good in their own ways. Swipe can be very, very good. Swipe is... I do not believe the damage that it does there is actually buffed up by spell power. Or at least it didn't used to be. I can't remember. I thought it was only the initial damage that is. So it can be good, obviously, because it hits everything. But it only hits one enemy for a large amount, and then everything else kind of gets tickled. So it's good against small groups of nasty little 1-health creatures. You've then got Boulder Fist Ogre, which is just a generally good creature in general. 6/7 for 6 is good value. Let's take a bit more removal. Let's grab that Swipe. Alright, well, this is an easy choice. Young Dragonhawk. A lot of people don't like him, and I don't really blame him because he doesn't trade well. He's good if you can buff him, and right now in my deck I have very few buffs whatsoever outside of the Power of the Wild. So I'm thinking another Ironbark Protector. So we've got Heavy Hitters and Taunts at the end, which is always good. Dalaran Mage, Abusive Sergeant, and Reckless Rocketeer. I like the Abusive Sergeant. I think it's a very good card. Admittedly, the problem with the Abusive Sergeant is that Battle Cry means that playing him on turn 1 is a less effective way of playing him. You generally want to play him on turn 2 when you have another 1-cost drop down, and then you say, hey, look, that's now a +2 attack, and then it trades well, or it does a lot of damage. Dalaran Mage got nerfed. It used to be a 2/4 with a +1 spell damage for 3, which was a great card. Now it's a good card. I do have one thing that will benefit from it so far. Only one. Let's say that Abusive Sergeant. Okay. Injured Blade Master, Cold Light Seer, Pint-Sized Summoner. Even in this... this is a difficult one, because now that he's a 4/3 for 3 with potential heal, he's a bit better than what he was. He used to be a 3/3, and it was bad. It's like, oh, it's a 3/3 for 3 with a weird battle cry. Yeah, not so ideal. And then your Pint-Sized Summoner used to be really, really good, and now is just... it's decent. It used to be reduced cost by 2, now it's 1, so it got nerfed pretty hard. Which draws me to the conclusion that it's not necessarily as great to play them anymore, but they're still pretty good. You can't ignore the potency of something like that, because you get to play minions earlier than you should be able to, which gives you a tempo advantage. Okay, Adventure Code Mercenary, Bloodfen Raptor, and Iron Beak Owl. As I've said before, 3-2 Raptors are really only good in beast decks for hunters. I mean, they're still decent-ish creatures if you've got no other options, and that might be the case in an arena, but if you've got a better pick, you should take it. Venture Code Mercenary, a lot of people swear by this guy because you play him out pretty early, and he's very, very hard to deal with. Makes it harder for you to play your minions, of course, but generally speaking, at that point, it doesn't matter, because he's just going to wreck everything, and he's going to trade well. And then Iron Beak Owl. We have no silence in the deck yet, so otherwise I'd be picking this, but I'm going to take the Iron Beak because we don't have any silence. So our 2s are looking pretty good so far. Alright. Well, this is a very easy choice again. Grimscale Oracle is just terrible in arena decks. Most of those Murlocs are. Like, if you're going to take Murlocs, maybe you take the Bluegill Warrior, or you take the one that actually spawns an extra Murloc. That's okay. All of the buff Murlocs generally suck because you can't get the right cards for them. I've talked about Reckless Rocketeer before. Druid of the Claw is just silly. Like, it is a better Fen Creeper for the same price. It's a 4-6 taunt instead of a 3-6, or it's a 4-4 charge. It's great either way you look at it. So, Druid of the Claw, definitely. Alright, Frost Wolf, Grunt, Innovate, and Savage Roar. Don't like the Grunt. I don't think 2-2 taunt is that great. Obviously, it can't really survive many hits at all. It generally just trades 1 for 1, which is not so cool. And if you wanted to trade 1 for 1, there are better ways to do it, like Ooze or Knife Juggler, or anything that's a 3-2. Then you've got Savage Roar and Innovate. We talked about Innovate before. I kind of like Innovate because it can be pretty gimmicky and tempo busting, as can to some degree Nourish as well. Savage Roar's pretty good too, though. Give all your characters +2 attack this turn. That includes you as the Druid, by the way. It's pretty powerful removal, so maybe we just skip the gimmicks and we just take a Savage Roar. Scarlet Crusader, Tauren Warrior, Wisp. We're pretty low on the taunt so far, but this is not really one of the best ones because it just has low health, which is unfortunate. If you can get Enrage on it, that's great, but if you can't reliably do that, then it's not so good a creature. Like, if you compare it to the Armani Berserker, which does the same thing but just doesn't have taunt, the Armani Berserker can get out a turn earlier. And it also isn't a gigantic target like this guy that can just get... The problem with an Enrager 2-3 with a taunt is, generally speaking, it dies before the Enrage can kick in. So if you have a reliable way of actually allowing it to Enrage, it's great, but... And it keeps trying to give me Wisps, and it needs to stop doing that, because they're bad. Scarlet Crusader, 3-1 Divine Shield. I love this creature, because usually you can take out 2 creatures with it because of that Divine Shield. And since if you're not a Paladin, then you're not going to be getting a lot of that Divine Shield, so... yeah, we're all over that. Harvest Golem, Corehound, and Cult Master. I like Cult Master in this deck specifically because I have Soul of the Forest. So I have the ability to get out a lot more extra creatures, and I think Cult Master might be a good idea. I've also got a lot of 1s and 2s, which means that the Cult Master should be able to benefit from that, and we are lacking in card draw. I would have otherwise taken the Harvest Golem. Oh, what is with this? Alright, I think we are going to take the Injured Blade Master now, because these are just terrible. So, Injured Blade Master it's going to be. It's a bit of a weird pick. I can't really heal it in any way, but hey, it's a 4-3. Wind Fury Harpy, stop. This is like the 5th Grimscale Oracle it's tried to give me. I should have just built an entire deck out of Grimscale Oracles. I could have actually built a legit Murloc deck. As weird as it sounds. Wind Fury Harpy, not bad. Good if you can get any kind of buff on it. Good if you can get it behind a taunt wall. If you can't, it just gets splattered. And then Youthful Brewmaster, which I think is really, really good, especially if you happen to have Battle Cries. And I do have Battle Cries. I could do the double Hungry Crab play. Highly dangerous, very unexpected. Kill 2 Murlocs. Of course, you can bring out the Iron Beak Owl again to get the benefit. You could play the Injured Blade Master again. I'm not really sure why you want to do that. You could play the Jungle Panther again. You could play the Scarlet Crusader again. You see where I'm getting with this? Yeah, Youthful Brewmaster's good. Acidic Swampoos. 100% of the time. So good. 3-2, destroy your opponent's weapon. Situational. Obviously, in some matches, it's just going to be a 3-2. In other matches, it's going to be just blindingly good. And these 2 cards, not so much. Acidic Swampoos. Alright, an Acolyte of Pain, a Chillwind Yeti, a Dalaran Mage. I do have some card draw now, so I think I'm going to avoid the Acolyte of Pain. It's not one of the better card draws, in my opinion. Chillwind Yeti, now that is a good one. And we have only 1 4-cost creature, so we need to kind of fill this area out a bit. So yeah, there we go. And as for magic, I don't have a huge amount of stuff that would work well with that. And we might grab another Soul of the Forest now, because, as I said, we do have things that will benefit from that. The Cult Master's going to benefit from that significantly. That would be very nice. And aside from that, damage-wise, removal, we've got, like, one card that would benefit from this. And then you ask about Nightblade. I just don't agree with the cost of Nightblade. I think 3 damage to the enemy hero is basically it's a free Sinister Strike, but it probably isn't going to win you the game. If you get to that point and your opponent's down to 3, chances are you're going to win another way, and 4/4 for 5 is not just generally not good value, in my opinion. If that did damage to something else, then maybe it would be, and then it would be horribly overpowered, so we'll take the Soul of the Forest. Pants, pants, and more pants. Well, I was talking about the River Crocolisk earlier, as, in my opinion, a better card than this, so I think we're going to take that. Our 2s are not bad, I gotta say. This is actually the worst draft in history. It is throwing so many bad cards at me. Murloc Raider is a great example of bad card, by the way. Because it's a Murloc and can benefit from the 6th Grimscale Oracle that it tries to give me, I should have taken Grimscale Oracles, nothing but Grimscale Oracles. But again, it's an arena, you have no idea, and usually it's a bad pick otherwise. Murloc Raider is statistically worse than stuff like the Priestess, which is just better. It's worse than the Worgen Infiltrator, which is just better. Yeah. But we're gonna have to take it, because in my opinion, everything else is rubbish. So, we're having that. And also, with a Murloc, at least I can then eat it with a Hungry Crab, and then my Hungry Crab is a 3/4. So, that's a reason for taking it, I guess. Our heavy hitters are most likely going to be Taunts. I think we're just going to take another Ironbark. 3 Ironbarks is pretty scary endgame, I've got to say. And our 1s and 2s are not bad at all. I'm not really concerned about our early game, so let's take that late game punch. Okay, Wrath, Archmage, and Kobold Geomancer. I do kind of like the Archmage because 7 health is this really weird, awkward amount. And being able to do 4 damage usually means you can get 2 trades out of it, at least with that thing. It's really weird stats-wise. Kobold Geomancer, not too bad at all, but again, look at all these great 2s we have. We do not need more 2s for actual creatures. I'm tempted to take the Archmage just on that basis, but I would like a little bit more card draw and direct spell damage removal, so I think we're going to grab that Wrath. Okay, 2 cards remaining. Gurubashi Berserker, Ironfur Grizzly, and Dread Corsair. Not the biggest fan of this. Like, for 1 cost more, you get a 3/5 in the Senjin Shieldmaster, but I do have to say, aside from our endgame, our mid-game Taunt is really weak. So, as a result, we're probably going to take the Bear. I like the Gurubashi Berserker, I really do. I think you can do a lot with it. I don't like the Dread Corsair on this hero because it's just a bad taunt otherwise, because they don't have any weapons, so we're going to take the Bear. 1 card left. Ravenholt Assassin, Questing Adventurer, Emperor Cobra. I think we take that endgame punch in the form of the Ravenholt Assassin. It's a very, very dangerous finisher. And aside from that, we're kind of relying on a lot of smaller creatures in the Frostwolf Warlord, so, and we only have 1 Druid of the Claw, which is, oh, God. That's not good. I was hoping for a lot more of those. I've played a deck with like 5 of them, and I'm pretty sure I went 8-3 with it. So, a Ravenholt Assassin it will be. Okay, well, it tried to make us take a lot of very bad creatures, but I think otherwise the deck is fairly well balanced. The curve is not too bad. Our 6s are a little bit weird, but generally speaking, 6 drops are not that... I don't like 6 drops because once you get to 10 mana, a 6 drop, you know, it would be nice to drop 2 5/5s instead of like a 6 and a 4 and things like that, and you can't drop 2 6s, so... I like 5s. 5s are good. We don't have that many of them. But we've got a lot of 4s. We've got a huge amount of 3s and 2s. So our early game's pretty powerful. And if we can survive, then those Ironbark Protectors and the Assassin are going to give us the late game punch that we need. It also means we can get a lot on the board and we can start using Soul of the Forest to generate a bunch of free treants. So without further ado, let's begin. Alright, Mage to begin with. Okay, let's see how that one goes. Okay, that's alright. It's a shame I don't have any 1s. I'm thinking of just, like, tossing the Swipe and maybe one of the 2s to see if I can get a 1. Let's do that. Keep the Brewmaster. Ah, got a 1. Cool. Got a Hungry Crab. Nice. So we'll see. Maybe he plays a Murloc. No, Mirror Image. Alright, fine. So I can coin Armani Berserker here, but it's kind of an annoying play. Ah, I have a Murloc of my own. Cool. 3/4 coming in right here. We will eat that Murloc. Yes, we will. Actually, should we eat it this turn or next turn? He's got 2 taunts up. Let's not eat it this... yes, we have to eat it this turn, because otherwise he'll Fire Blast it. Okay, alright. Fine, here we go. So, Murloc. Extra value. Hungry Crab eats the Murloc. There we go. And that's now a 3-4. We still got those 2 taunts up, which is a little bit irritating, but hey. Okay. Let's see where it goes from that. If this is the problem with playing any 1 health, like 2-1 minions, is if you go up against a druid, a rogue, or a mage, it just dies from hero power, which is very irritating. You have to be a bit careful about that. Alright, I guess he's going to start pinging it then. And I'm going to make my way through his mirror images relatively fast, without too much of a problem. Okay, Armani Berserker going out in the field right here. Unfortunately, these are now 0-2. They used to be 0-1, so you could just kill them with this, but you can't anymore. So we play a creature. And we eliminate one of those with the Hungry Crab. There we go. So we're probably going to get both the mirror images with the crab. And what I'm hoping is that he puts out a creature that I can then enrage my Armani Berserker with. But looking like it's not going to happen. We can just kill that off, though, immediately. So that's not a great play. I can just hit that with the Armani Berserker and then use the crab to kill it and still keep it alive. So that's okay. We got Youthful Brewmaster. We got Wrath. Wrath doesn't really help me much here. Actually, yes, it does. Alright, so here's the play. Because this makes my Armani Berserker a lot better. So what we do is we do that. No, it's not the play. What am I thinking? That's not the play. Because it gives him 2 cards. That's a terrible play. What am I thinking? No. No, I messed that up. That was pretty stupid. I don't want to give him 2 cards. I guess we just Wrath it. Ah, didn't want to do that. Messed that up pretty badly. I forgot that this was a 2-3. And I thought, oh yeah, I can trade that for that, and I can get an Enrage off it, and it'll be a 5-2, and that'll be great. But then I realized, oh yeah, if I do that, it gives him 2 cards, which means that his card was worthwhile. Yeah, I really should have done that the other way around. I should have used an Armani Berserker to break it, and then I should use the crab. And that would have meant that I wouldn't have had to use a card to get rid of it. So, that is my fault. Oh, nasty. Please don't tell me he's got another Ice Lance. He does! Alright. Well, I guess that's a thing. He did burn a lot of cards to make that happen, but hey. Alright, well, I think we just Cult Master now, then. Probably the best thing I can do, really. There's nothing else I can actually play, so... And he's just used most of his removal. Let's hope that he doesn't have any more of it. If he just Frostbolts my Cult Master, then that's gonna suck. It's not a good time to have a Cult Master out. It's still a 4-damage creature, but... Alright, Oasis Snapjaw. That sucks because that actually trades really well. Oh dear. Alright, I think we're gonna need card draw here, actually. Because either that or do we pull him back? We could. We could save him from that sodding turtle. Or we can just let it die and get 3 cards. We're going to save his arse because it's the only one I've got on the deck. So I'll pull him back, and then I'll play the Scarlet Crusader. There we go. Okay. So I may be able to get a card out of this, because I'm thinking 6 damage is done there. And then I'm able to use my hero power to do the 7th amount of damage with a Cult Master out and maybe trade out one of my creatures. Alright, Water Elemental. Very, very good card in my opinion. Pings off that, and now he's probably going to use the turtle to... I wouldn't have done that. I would have used the turtle to kill the Brewmaster because it's actually slightly higher in health, but whatever. Okay. Alright, so... Trading time. He did well with this guy. He did very well with him. But at least we're going to get a card out of him. Unfortunately, we will then lose the Cult Master, which is not the best ever. This is now going to hit that, which gets rid of it. Leaves him with 2 health, but then I can probably eliminate him with something else. I didn't really want to use Soul of the Forest because I didn't have enough creatures out in the field to justify it. I like to have at least 3 out to make it really, really good. I maybe should have done it with 2, though. There's no point in Fire Blasting that, unless you're going to ignore it entirely. Oh, he's going to ignore it entirely. That's actually quite silly, in my opinion. I wouldn't have done that. I would have hit that with that and got rid of it and kept 2 health on it. That would have been fantastic. Doesn't necessarily mean I can get any benefit from it. That might be a Vaporize. That's a possibility. Alright, what's the best play out from here, then? Maybe 2 2-cost creatures and a Soul of the Forest? I can't do that. Mathematics is not my forte, apparently. Oh, I could play the Ravenholt Assassin. It's hard to know what that actually is.
Hello.
I think we'll play 2/2 cost creatures, and that still doesn't do anything, though. Ha. I don't know. Alright, let's start with the Summoner. Is it a mirror image? No. A mirror entity, even. That's probably a Vaporize. It really is. I think maybe we just solo the Forest now, then, to get the 2/2/2s. Again, probably a Vaporize. Now, you might ask why I attacked with him instead of trying to let him generate cards. Well, he wouldn't have let him. There's no way. He would have used that to kill it immediately, so... Well, if you're thinking that buffs it, you would be incorrect, but... We'll see. Overall, I've played really badly, I've got to say. It's been pretty embarrassing. He's going for me, which is really odd. But I'm okay with that. I mean, he left my summoning... Pint-sized Summoner alive, which is really strange. I'm not sure why you want to do that. Okay, well, I guess in that case, we'll play the Ravenholt Assassin out. And we'll put out a River Crocolisk. And I'm almost convinced that this is a Vaporize. So I'm going to use one of my free... Oh, it's an Ice Barrier. Okay. Huh. Alright. Never mind then. And then we trade that for that and we get a... one of those. Alright. Soundly ahead. I'm just waiting to be Flame Striked. Even then, Flame Strike at least wouldn't kill that. Oh, yes, it would! Because it's a plus bloody bollocks. Alright, I'm going to have to pull cards next turn, definitely. Well, I was ahead, and then I got obliterated. Alright, Nourish time. So, we're going to be drawing 3 cards. That was terrible, and I am very unhappy. Okay, best card to play, probably Injured. Well, Jungle Panther, maybe. Yeah. And I mean, I can Claw, but there's not a lot of point. Alright, I am now soundly behind. Losing my big heavy hitter. Yeah, you're not going to be targeting that anytime soon, I'm afraid. I've played really badly so far, so he absolutely deserves to beat me, and that's the perfect card to play in that situation. If you have a taunt, which you don't, so it's gonna die. And now I get Fireballed. Oh, he's rushing me down, and that's a good bet. It is. I'm down to 7. I could very easily die next turn. Thankfully, I have a taunt, so that hopefully won't happen. Okay. Let's make this good, shall we? So, I think we taunt first to make sure we don't get beaten on. We've got Swipe, and we can get rid of that. Can't get rid of the Demolisher in the same turn, though. Or can we? No. Yes, we can. Okay. So, Ironfur Grizzly. And then we swipe. Then trade. Then claw. Is that the best way to do it? The other one is the +1/+1 play, which would take that one up to 5, which takes it down to 2. And now I claw him to death, but I take 4 damage in the process, which is not ideal. Alright, yeah, okay. I think this is actually the best way to do it. So... Oh, it's a Spellbender. That sucks. Oh, dear. That is really bad. Okay. That is dreadful. Alright. I'm going to avoid him. I'm going to let him hit the bear. Well, that didn't go as planned. Should have seen that one coming. Well, if he pulls a Pyroblast, I die immediately. Here's hoping he doesn't have one. Alright, so I'll lose the bear. That'll take him down to 3 health. I'll just follow up. Oh, I'm dead. I just got wrecked.
Well played.
Well, I got that. That might help. Armor up. He's probably got a fireball. Let's see if he does. Oh, come on! What a damn disaster. That game could not have gone any worse. And it's mostly my fault, too. Alright, we can't even... Oh, can't even kill it. Yeah, GG. I was pretty dead. Best I could have done with it being 4-6 taunt. Maybe I could have lasted a turn, but I deserve to lose that. I played like an absolute moron. What was I doing? Man, I mean, I know I haven't played in a few days, but I didn't expect any semblance of skill to regress this quickly. Apparently it does, so be careful. Alright, a warrior. Let's see if we can salvage my reputation. This is not exactly the ideal opening hand. I think I'm going to have to do something about that. Let's toss the iron box. Thank you very much. Oh, come on, really? It's like, yeah, I got rid of the iron box. Here, have the third iron box that's in your deck. I really don't want the third iron box. Thank you very much. And none of my one-drops, so that's wonderful. Great start. Awesome start. Come off it! What the hell is wrong with you? Alright, pint size open. At least maybe I get a 4-drop next turn that I can use. Come on. Need Heart of the Cards right here. Let's see what he pulls out. Coin, gonna pull out a 3-cost. What's he got? That's less than ideal. I need a 4. Injured Blade Master. Not the best thing in the world, but certainly not the worst either. So I'm going to lose that summoner. Guaranteed. And what's even worse is he's gonna then bloody enrage, isn't he? This is... Well, I think what we have to do then is just flat out kill it. I mean, if I summon the Blade Master, he kills that. And he just trades that for that. I don't like that I'm doing that. I'm losing that summoner benefit. But if I play anything else, he gets like a 2-for-1. Or I take 5 damage when I have to hit his enraged taunting Tauren. So I don't like it. Okay. Injured Blade Master. Not great. I think I'll just claw that to death and then Injured Blade Master. Seems like the best way to deal with it.
For the wilds.
There we go. Alright, so that's a 4-3 out. It's nice to have. I'm currently behind. He has a card advantage on me. And I've taken some damage as well. I also lost my potential of a summoner play, but... Turn 5 probably is just going to end up being a Nourish. How irritating. I could Power of the Wild and get through that, but again, it's pretty wasteful. I don't like that so much. I'm thinking we just Nourish and get those 2 crystals, and then we rush to Ironbark. That seems like the way to do things. There we go. And we can take the Shield Master out, so that's okay. Yeah, and then we get an Ironbark out next turn, then that's when things start to get really interesting. Alright, so we take a hit, and then we trade that for that. There we go. And we have an Ironbark for next turn as a result of that Nourish play, so... That puts me ahead on mana significantly. Especially true considering that I happen to go first, so Nourish on turn 5 is amazing. Alright. Anything you can do, I can do better. And I've got a second one of those. That's when he tosses out a Brawl and his Fen Creeper comes out alive, and I just hate everything. Okay, well, way to deal with an Ironbark as a warrior would probably trade the Fen Creeper or do something that deals 1 damage to it and then execute. That's doable. So you maybe you Cruel Taskmaster it, or you Knife Juggler it, and then you execute. I have a feeling that's exactly what he's trying to do. Where's your execute? Where's your execute? You know you have one. Don't pretend you don't have an execute. Maybe he doesn't have an execute. That would be unusual, but entirely feasible. He doesn't have an execute. This is great news. So I can clobber at least one of his creatures with this, maybe even more than that. I can even Youthful Brewmaster if I don't like living. Thing is, I kind of like living, and I don't really want to take 6 damage next turn, so it's okay. I can play another one. Alright, so that's now down to 4, so it is dead next turn. What happens if I pull it back and play it again? That leaves me with no defense against the nonsense he's about to throw at me, but I can... You know, I'm surprisingly okay with that. Because that means I can play 2 more Ironbark Protectors on full health. So, I'm actually alright with that. That seems entirely reasonable. Not only that, but I can play Hungry Crab, and I can eat one of his Murlocs. Because that is just how we roll. Nom 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 nom. Excellent. And maybe we even Power the Wild here. No, we don't do that. Because he can still trade this for this, regardless of whether we Power the Wild or not. So, Shapeshift, and kill ourselves a Murloc. And end the turn. And then we have 2 Ironbark Protectors sitting around that are going to be wonderful. I'm pretty happy with how that went. Hungry Crab is MVP right now, I've got to say. Why did I not realize how amazing this card was before? I've killed 2 Murlocs with it. Admittedly, one was mine. One was mine Murloc, but in my opinion, since I killed a Murloc, I saved the world from having to deal with another Murloc. So regardless of whether or not it was my Murloc, I think I still did a service to society, and I think you can all agree with me on that. Slam! And welcome to the jam. So he gets a card out of that, and then maybe he just trades the... I don't know, maybe he can play a couple of weenies, and then he gets Lucky Knives. Oh, he's just going to trade it for that Murloc. Okay. Well, at least the knife didn't hit the other thing. What's he going to go? He could just get rid of the Brewmaster with it. At that point, the Brewmaster's actually the better bet. Because that's now a slightly weaker creature, but I'll just trade the crab. Actually, might not even have to. He's probably going to knife the damn thing. Ah, you lucky bastard. Alright, never mind. I still have many Ironbark Protectors, so that's going to help a lot. And a Wrath, which is even better. So, first things first, Ironbark Protector. Second thing is we Wrath the 4/3 buffed Knife Juggler. Just a reminder, I still got Ironbark Protectors, and I'm pretty sure you don't have a way of dealing with them yet. Again, they can still do the whole execute thing, but I need to stop breaking things. I'm trying to emote while doing a broadcast of this, and it's really not working out so well for me. Things are falling off the desk, everything's horrendous. The stuff just perilously perched on top of Munchkin boxes. Armor. Is that really all he's doing? Nah, he's gotta have something else, surely. Surely you've got something else. Because if you don't, I'm going to Abusive Sergeant and horribly murder you with trees. It's going to be brilliant. What else you got? Come on. Show me your secrets. Please don't have Brawl when I play my second Ironbark. Alright, so he's going for the buff. That's quite nice. Maybe not the most efficient way of doing it, but hey.
We must cleanse the sun.
He still gets a 4/3 out of that, and, you know. It's kind of a buying time kind of play. Alrighty then. So, we do have 2 Ironbark Protectors. And we can also Power the Wild, and things can get very amusing indeed. And we can, of course, also hope that he doesn't have a Brawl. We have Abusive Sergeant as well. I can hit him for 10. With such power on the field, it might be worth just ignoring what he's got and just killing him. Because that is going to put him in a really desperate spot. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Couple more hits like that and he's in real trouble. I've got Power of the Wild next turn. If my stuff stays alive, I can Soul of the Forest as well, and then suddenly he is in a bit of trouble. The risk, of course, is that he's able to massively buff his stuff, but since they're not damaged yet, less likely. A lot of the buffs you can do involve damage in some way with the warrior, so we'll see how it turns out. He's got to really do something decisive this turn, otherwise he's in a really, really nasty spot. So he gets rid of my 2/1, which is a little annoying, but nothing we can't really handle. He can run his creatures into my trees till the end of time, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. They will be able to deal with that quite nicely. And that's exactly what he's going to do. By the looks of it. Can he kill it? Oh, he's going to give the boar charge and then do that. Well, it was traded out for 3 creatures, so I'm pretty happy with how that went. And he burned through an awful lot of stuff to make that happen, so... That leaves us with still another tree on the field. We could 3-2 Panther, and we could solo the forest. That's probably a pretty decent bet, actually. Yeah. 3-2 Panther. We will shapeshift. Not going to Savage Roar this turn, because we can make a better play with it next turn. Solo the forest comes out, and we're going to go for him. Smack. Okay, so he's pretty much... He will die next turn unless he can handle this with the 2 cards that he's got. So he doesn't have what he needs on the field to eliminate the Treant. He needs one of those 2 cards to be his savior. It's an Arcanite Reaper. It actually turns out to kind of be a savior, but it's going to take a huge amount of damage in doing so. So, because of Savage Roar, I think I kill him anyway. But let's see. So he's going to take 6 damage from this, and he's going to lose a creature as well. It's going to leave me with a Treant, which I assume he's then going to trade that for. Yep. Okay, so he does not die this turn. It's close to it, but he doesn't die. Alright, so we have this 3-2 Panther. I can afford to take this kind of damage, so I'm still going for him at this point. If I Savage Roar right now, I can do 6 damage to him. Not enough. Not gonna do it. Really should have killed that. That would have made more sense. Should have left that alive. That was silly. Should have just used that 1 damage to get rid of that. So that was a mistake. Might let him back into the game. See what he gets. Panther goes down. He's probably going to use the Wind Fury now if he's got any sense to kill that and then maybe knock off the shield of that. No, he's going for me. Alright. Alright, now he's dead because I have Savage Roar. So, that is GG. Comedy of errors, though. Definitely made plenty of mistakes there that I shouldn't have, so... I didn't even play that in the right order. Doesn't matter, he still dies, but yeah. I'm playing really badly today. I've been playing a little bit too much XCOM, I think. It's definitely not helping my concentration on this game. Alright, let's see if at least we can get a couple more wins to pick up daily quests. We can actually pick up 2 daily quests from this, which is really good. Always nice to have that extra cash for another arena run. Try and get a couple more wins out of this deck. Again, it's not a terrible deck. It's okay. Let's see who we get. A Hunter. Alright. Okay, Hunter deck's pretty good. That Crab Murloc combo is available right now. Yes, it is. Alright, well, let's toss the Ironbark Protector and keep the rest. Crab Murloc Raider combo. Very dangerous. The only thing better than Crab Murloc Raider combo is Crab he played a Murloc on turn 1 combo. Which is unfortunately unlikely, especially with Hunter deck, but... It's decent value, honestly, because you're getting basically 1 more stat out of it than you would otherwise, so it's okay. I don't know if it's the best thing, because you are burning a coin to make it work. I might even play, since you can't eliminate it immediately, I think I'm going to save the coin, I'm going to play the Raider, do damage with it, then eat it. That's the most efficient. So, let's see, he's picking between 3 cards right now, and then I will be able to play this. So, depends if he puts anything out on the field. If he does, then... Oh, he's not going to. Okay, so we're going to play the Raider, and we're not going to do the Crab combo yet, because I can get better value out of this. So we will. We can do damage with it and then kill it with the Crab. Basically, I only want to kill it with the Crab when I know that this thing's not going to survive. Against the Mage, I had to do this combination because the Mage would have instantly killed the Murloc. Another tracking. Alright. Well, he's certainly destroying his cards, but he is getting the ones that he needs. Evidently, he didn't get the one that he needed for turn 2, though, because he just burned yet another tracking. He's now down to 19 cards and didn't play anything. Which, that's not... I mean, that is not great, I gotta say. That is not a good situation to be in for him, I feel. Okay, so we're gonna do the Crab combo now. The only other option is, like, Youthful Brewmaster, which doesn't really make a lot of sense here. So, out comes the Crab. There we go. Having done damage with that. I don't want to Brewmaster that, obviously, because that's going to weaken it. So we will keep a hold of the coin for the time being. We might be able to use it to do a turn 4 Nourish, which would be pretty good. Depends what he brings out, really. He's got to bring out something. He's done 2 turns without playing any creatures. All he's done is play tracking, so he must have a pretty good hand by now, you would think. And he's tossed a lot of cards to get it, so he is hoping that his grand plan is ready to go. Because if it's not, well, the crab's going to eat him. It's going to be great. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be wonderful. So what you got? Apparently not that much. Either that or he's thinking of his master plan. Well, stage 27 of my master plan will involve at least 2 more trackings, burn half of my deck into the ground, and then play the perfect combination of cards to result not only in the destruction of my opponent, but the immediate attention of every woman within a 2-mile vicinity. It's a possibility. Or alternatively, he could just have Jack All in his hand. All of these are a possibility. What I'm going to do, well, I can't really do much on turn 3, which is a little bit annoying. He's not actually doing anything. He plays a secret. Alright. Which is probably an explosive trap. Timberwolf. Cool. I instantly kill it. No problem. Not a big deal. And, I mean, I don't even have to attack it with the crab. That's the best thing about it. I don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna hit it. And if that's an explosive trap, it could be a freezing trap, which would send it backwards, but let's see. Oh, it is a freezing trap. That's infuriating. I hate you. Damn. It's pretty rare to see that happen. But in this case, it is. Balls. Alright, well, we're going to go turn 4 Nourish and then go for the Ironbark rushing again.
Give me a quest.
Questing Adventure out. Not going to make much difference when I got my Ironbarks, but... the thing is, that's going to get rapidly out of control. And I don't really have a way of dealing with it yet. So, we're going to have to just let him do that. We're going to go for the turn 4 Nourish. There we go. And I'm going to kill... do I want to kill that, or do I want to play my Swampoos? I'm just going to kill it. Can't get my Ironbark Protector out yet, so I'm going to take a hit from this thing, but I'm hoping it doesn't get too monstrous. I don't have any other way of eliminating it right now. I need to pull a silence, really.
Give me a quest.
Oh my, he's doing one of those. Okay. So buffs are plenty here. Suddenly things are getting a little bit out of control. I don't like that. Probably shouldn't have left that alive. That was a very silly thing to do, wasn't it? Alright, Chillwind Yeti, I assume, is the way to go here. We're going to lose creatures one way or the other. We've got to get some out on the field, otherwise things are about to get ridiculously out of control. At least the Timberwolf is not going to benefit the questing adventurers. It only buffs beasts. So we're going to play one of those, and playing the Hungry Crab... Nah, I think we're Acidic Swampoos. It's still not great, because these guys are about to get massive buffs. At least I get my Ironbark Protectors out, but those things could end up killing them. So, it's concerning. I guess his master plan has worked out pretty well for him so far. Oh, that's terrible news. Oh, God. That's an 8-6. That's terrible. I could just die in a couple of turns right now here. And now he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I can totally do those trades. Yeah, and he's right. He can. Oh, no. This is ugly. This is very, very ugly. I hate this guy. I hate him. With every fiber of my being, I hate him. So I play a taunt, which gets instantly killed. And then I get hit for 8, 9. Or I take 3 damage and kill that off. And then play something which, again, just kind of dies immediately. None of these options are very good. None of them are very good. I'm going to take the punch that in the face option. And then die next turn. This is awful. Oh, God. Jeez. This went so wrong so fast. Really should have tried to kill that questing adventurer. I don't think I could have killed it that turn, but I could have damaged it. Maybe I just shouldn't have gone for the Nourish, but I didn't have any other cards. Maybe I should have used a card draw instead and got the Silence out. Oh no, anything but that. Did that just kill me? Not quite, but pretty damn close. This is horrible. I just got blitzed. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not let questing adventurers live. Because this happens. Oh, God. Well, I'm dead. Flat out. Can't survive. There's no other options. I can eliminate that creature. That's the best that I can do, trade-wise, and then I can Brewmaster. Ironbark Protector dies immediately, and then I just die to everything else. So, that was awful. I am awful. I am a terrible person. Not really. I played like absolute shit. Don't believe I let him pull that on me. It's one of the basic things that you learn when you're playing Hearthstone is you never let a questing adventurer gain that kind of momentum, ever. Like, everything you have, you use to deal with that questing adventurer. And a freezing trap on the crab, of all things to have. It's so rare that people even grab freezing traps. They prefer explosive traps. That's what I assumed it was, but nope. Not at all. Wow, that was disgustingly bad. Alright, well, we'll toss the swipe and see if we can get any earlier plays. And we do. Alright, so the Acidic Swamp Ooze might be useful. We could see an early Stormforged Axe, which could be shut down by that quite easily. So that would be pretty cool. Alright, not a bad opening start, especially against a Shaman, so we can safely play the Murloc Raider without having to worry too much, because he doesn't have an ability that will kill it immediately, so that's cool. Congrats to Krendor on his Gromash Hellscream, very good card. So, I'm hoping, like, he goes coin, axe, and then I laugh at him as I break it, but we'll see. Coin. Please tell me this is an axe. Close enough. I just trade that, and I'm not concerned because he had to use his coin to do it, so that's fine. And then I play the Crocolisk. Cool, that works. Keep that Swamp Ooze in my hand. He may still Stormforged Axe. The only other thing he can pull out is a Doomhammer, but he's not going to do that till later game. If he doesn't pull out an axe in the next couple of turns, I'll just use my Ooze. Okay, so he doesn't have an axe in his hand. Alright, well that dies immediately, but I think a Crusader, and then kill that. I have no intention of letting him get any kind of buffed spell nonsense out. Thank you very much. Not going to happen. So it's going to be difficult to eliminate what I've got on the board so far. Soul of the Forest is available. This will be especially good if I can get 3 creatures. Lightning Bolt. Irritating, but hey. It is what it is. Okay, Panther or Soul of the Forest. I think we could Panther, or we could just do that and remove, and yeah, we're going to do that, remove an Ooze, I think. So, I don't want to give him an opportunity to break the Divine Shield on this thing just yet, so it makes more sense to do that. And that's the annoying thing about Searing Totems. You can just poke and kill a Divine Shield with it and then knock it out with anything. So, I think I've got a good board. Next turn is probably going to be 4/6 Druid of the Claw. No, he's just toteming. He's got nothing. He actually has nothing, which is wonderful. So I think we're just going to do the exact same thing I just did. I don't even need the Druid of the Claw right now. I'm going to play the Jungle Panther instead. Remove that Jungle Panther and hit him for 6 and keep that Divine Shield intact. The only risk now is that he pulls a Lightning Storm on me and kills 2 of my creatures. If he doesn't, we probably Soul of the Forest next turn, because that will put Soul of the Forest on 3, which is great. Because then we could do some ridiculous Savage Roar nonsense with it. Just... Great, he's not going to get rid of that. Cool. So it is, I think, time for Soul of the Forest. Or we could Savage Roar. But that is going to involve things dying. So I'm going to think... Yeah. Alright, so we trade the Panther for the 4/4. We use this to kill that, and then we attack, and we have Wondrous Trees. So, all of this seems to be the right way to do it. Armor up. So, that goes splat. That goes splat. I get a direct attack, and I hit him for 1. Okay, our position is phenomenal and can be very easily ruined by a lightning storm. But at least I have trees, so that helps. And we have potential Savage Raw charge play next turn. No, we don't. My maths is slightly off. That's 2 turns away. We can still Savage Raw, which would actually be a lot of damage. I'm not sure if it's enough. I don't think it is. Okay, so let's do the mathematics. So currently it's what? 6, 7, 8. If I were to Savage Raw, that would be 5, 10, 14. Yeah, he's dead. GG. That was not difficult. That kind of makes up for the previous game. That was very one-sided. I actually have more health than I started with. That's a little better. And I also get my 2 daily quests as well. Alright, so we're 2 for 2 today. 50% win ratio. Certainly not the best. Let's try and climb it up to 3 in the next session. And maybe stop playing like a moron. That's a good tip. Yeah. I need to look up a guide on how to not play like a moron. That will be useful for my daily life, I think. We'll see you next time.